Warriors Unite! Back with another episode of Figure Warriors 2 and the 1% Club. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys are conquesting yourselves and conquesting things around you to give you dominion of things as God, your creator, has chosen to see fit to be able to use you in the way that God's purposes are. So, hope you guys are doing well. Thank you guys for your comments, likes, dislikes sometimes. Thank you guys for your comments back and forth. I appreciate those. Great topics. We got another good topic today. We'll continue to kind of go through the list of those shout outs. Let's take some shout outs right now. Ivan Terrib, thank you, my friend. The Snozzberries taste like Snozzberries. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. Issac Hershberger. Ben 3113, thank you. Zog, thank you. Celeste, thank you. Jannoun 2, thank you. Certified Finest. Can attract females. Guys, we're going to talk about this in a second. I would say the focus should be away from trying to attract females. I think we need to go ahead and focus on our goals, on the things we need to kind of accomplish. Women will be there. Women are attracted to high-level men. And that's what you got to take care of first, being a high-level man and being able to do that. You'll attract women, actually, when you don't want to attract women. It's probably the best way to do it. We'll talk about that more. Brilliance Winz, thank you, my friend, for your comment. Knowledge Harvester twice, thank you. Kieran, thank you. Sleepy Stage, thank you. Cameron Vaughn, thank you. Channel 3, thank you. Herbs888. Alex Mosters, thank you. Glory be to God, as usual, thank you. God's Gladiator, as usual, thank you. Lykkos, thank you, as usual. Jon the Dawn, thank you. Great traditional viewers we've had. Jeremiah 4469, thank you. Alberto Medina, thank you. Gio the Genius again, thank you. Chris Bruhne, thank you. Path of Perspective, thank you. Hakeem 603. Hakeem, I think, is on 603 days. Congratulations, Hakeem. Keep it up, my friend. Harry, thank you, my friend. Phoenix Heritage. Emerald Tablet was, I think, the thing I was looking for, talking about retention and the history of retention and going back that far. So thank you, my friend. Check 392, thank you. And Austin Roberts, thank you very much. All right, my friends. So at the 2-minute and 30-second mark, let's talk about this. So one of our viewers, Matriculated, has matriculated. His name is Matriculated. A shout out to you, my friend. The topic we talk about is that you don't need to be perfect under semen retention. And our viewer is absolutely, in my opinion, correct. Now, why is that? Let's kind of talk about this whole picture we're talking about here. A lot of people have emailed me, said there's frustration sometimes, things don't happen right away, it takes time. Each one of us as a warrior is on a different journey. Now, my journey started basically, in 1998 when I was probably around my late 30s, something like that, 37, something like that. I was born in 61, so I'm 63 right now. So around late 30s, something like that, when I decided that I had so many football injuries back in my college days and high school days that I really wanted to kind of, live a long time. And at that point in time, having children, going through a lot of stress of jobs and all kinds of stuff, the doctor had said that you got hypertension, you got all kinds of stuff going on with you. You need to try to see if you could try to figure out some ways to change your lifestyle. And I wanted to live a long life. That was one of my goals. So it was kind of hard at a crossroads to kind of figure out what to do. Fortunately, the place we were living at in the area had a Goodwill. And actually, I found a book called The Fountain of Youth by Peter Kelder. And I looked at that and I said, okay, I have nothing to lose by looking at this. And I kind of discovered the whole ideas that we're talking about here. And what that book really talks about, and I've talked about it many times on the air, and some of you guys are asking about the books and had some success with the book as well, is the whole idea that you have energy within your system. We are made of energy. The trouble is that we have to recognize that we're just not physical beings. We are also spiritual energy beings. This is why and I teach physics. At some points, I've taught physics to high schoolers and some mathematical physics to college students. And you realize, and one of Newton's laws is you cannot destroy or create energy. So what happens then is basically you're saying, okay, what's happening to us? We're made of energy. What happens to us? Well, everything is transferred. We transfer things to, from liquid to gas to solids, different types of things like that. An ice cube melts. It doesn't go away, even though it looks like it goes away. It transfers to something. And so does us. So does our bodies. So do we. But our energy is inside our bodies, is something that makes us who we are right now, spiritually, emotionally, all those type of things, even physically, because our physical nature is respected from our energy level we have currently. So when we talk about this idea, we're talking about trying to live a life that's a temple. Our Creator said our body is a temple. Now, in our society, we have tended to abuse our body for many, many years. In my case, I was abusing my body for about 37 years for sure. I started doing, in that book, there's 5 different exercises. They call them rites. And if you want me to go over I guess I can go over them at times. I actually have a couple past videos you can look at that we actually demonstrated them. But there's 5 rites, and I worked with those for about, the next 20 years or so. And they had great success. And I think we had a viewer, and I have to go back to the shout outs, the more recent ones to kind of look at. But one of our viewers said that he used the 5 rites, and the 6th one is the hardest. Now, it does say in the book that you want to become, you want to have success and stay younger. You can go ahead and use those 5. And I did, and I felt good at times. But because I kept having problems with releasing for 47 years, I basically did not have the full benefits of what Kelder was talking about. And he's talking about how in the Tibet area, back in the old days before China took over Tibet, back in the 50s, or 40s, 50s, they had a lot of, priests and people who were looking a lot younger. And part of it was because of these 5 rites, plus the 6th one. But I didn't realize how important the 6th one was until about 4 years ago, when I realized that, okay, I wasn't having the best success that I wanted to have, but then I had to do the 6th one. And the 6th one focuses on releasing and transmuting your sexual energy up. And Napoleon Hill's talked about this in his books as well, Think and Grow Rich. You look at these ideas, and this goes back, hundreds of years now in the United States, talking about the importance of retention and things like that. But we've kind of pushed it aside in our society, thinking that this is a me generation. We should just think about pleasure. We don't care. It's not going to affect us. It's not going to really hurt us. This is just kind of a lot of, theories, and there's no scientific proof behind it. And so why should we bother listening to all this stuff? And so when we focus on this, we're focusing then on looking at taking yourself and saying, okay, if I want to become that person, and you want to go ahead and get closer to God, which was my goal at the time, and especially in 1998, but even more so in the last 4 or 5 years, I decided, okay, I have nothing to lose. I wasn't getting the extreme benefits that I was looking for, physically or otherwise, and I said there's something missing. And the deduction I finally came up with was looking back at his book and basically saying that the 6th rite is the one that I was having trouble with. And so you almost kind of negate a lot of the 5 ones if you don't really control the 6th one. And the 6th one, of course, is keeping your energy and retaining. And so that 6th one I learned how to do over time, and I started going into what I call monk mode. And so when Matriculated talks about the fact that you don't need to be perfect, he is absolutely correct. What you have to do, and we take the stages, and I did a video on this last week, I think, the 5 stages. I think it was God's growth, that I took it from one of the videos. I looked at the video, and it was a great video. I recommend it. I think it's all last week or something like that. The 5 stages. Let's focus on stage 1 and 2. Those are the key stages we're talking about here. The first stage is make a commitment. And I finally said, when I was 59 years old, about 4 years ago now, and I think it's over 1,500 days or something like that. 4 years ago, I said, look, I have nothing to lose. I'm not getting where I should go. And I don't feel myself being the type of person I want to be. And some of you guys who saw my earlier videos, and I think I've done almost 900 videos or something like that, just because I like doing these and I kind of like sharing information and helping you guys as much as I can. If you look at some of the old ones, there was no, beard, all kinds of stuff. And a lot of you guys have mentioned that I look a lot different than I did back then. Well, I was just kind of in the beginning stages of trying to figure out what I was going to do here and what commitment I was making. And for those who are having moderate success and things like that, it's probably due to the fact, it might be the same problem I had, is I wasn't really committed to the idea. And so I'd go back and forth, and my mind and body understood that. And so it would kind of veer back and forth, and you'd have different periods of time where you had some success, then not success, but you couldn't get where you really wanted to go. And so I finally decided that I was going to make this a lifestyle change. And we talk about this is what the key part of this is. This is a lifestyle change. Have I made mistakes? Of course, I had 47 years of mistakes, if you want to talk about it. And one person talked about having wet dreams. Is that breaking the streak? Well, I would say don't be so concerned about releasing, especially wet dreams. What you really want to do is be concerned. I can say this now after 1,500 days, after 4 years of this, is basically saying that you want to focus on the commitment. All of us warriors are going to make mistakes. We're all human. We make mistakes. We sometimes lose energy when we shouldn't be. Sometimes it's emotional energy. Sometimes it's physical energy. But you realize the bottom line, what you're trying to achieve here. You keep your eye focused on the goal. You don't need to be perfect, but you need to be committed to the situation. If you're committed to retaining and you're committed to this idea of self-control, I'm going to learn how to defeat myself and take control of me, then this other stuff doesn't really matter. And even if you happen to make a mistake, and happen to it, think of the times, guys, when people are procreating. They're not going to be perfect each time and having children every time they do it. So it's going to be probably obviously more than one time. And so they're going to, in theory, they're going to break their streak. But the bottom line really is that they're doing it for a purpose. What we're talking about here is this epidemic we're talking about in a society where people are just releasing because they see pictures or they sleep with people. I saw this person, who knows if they're really accurate or not. They slept with 350 people in 350 days or something like that. This is just self-destruction at its best. And you can see this person kind of has like a look to them. It's almost like they're a zombie. And they're only 20-some years old. And so I feel for the people who are in these movements or in this society who feel have been brainwashed saying, okay, it's great to have intercourse and sex every day. Let's do it with multiple partners. Let's do it. And it's just not what God intended. And I've also run into a lot of older people, women and men, who talk about the fact that, all of that back when they were younger wasn't cracked up the way it was. And the thing is that if you're having it for children, that's one thing. If you're having procreation, one thing, that's great. But sex and releasing, should not be the main goal of your life. And that's why we talk about having all these other goals that are more worthy of God, and you're conquesting God's purposes. So we go back to this thing I'm talking about, is that the number one thing I did was I finally decided after 59 years that I was going to commit to this. This became then a lifestyle choice. I'm choosing to do this. Now, around me, there's ways you could still be intimate and not release. Obviously, you can have discussions with yourself and your partner and things like that about those things are important. But the key really is that you realize this is a lifestyle change. And I've had great success with my family, relationships on this kind of stuff, and people understand because they see the difference in me and they think it's a great difference, a great improvement than the way I was. And so they're more willing to kind of go with it because they realize that, I'm not doing a lot of things differently, But the retention, I believe, is building more muscle, giving me all the kind of benefits, clarity, more energy, a lot of those type of things because of what I'm doing. And on top of that, the fasting, the energy to go ahead and work out, all these things kind of help you then get into the point of saying, okay, there's something behind all this that's making you stronger and, you know, making you so much energy that you didn't used to have. And I never had this kind of energy over the last, between my years of, you know, I don't know, 20, 30 years old, 40 years old, that I didn't have this kind of energy. It's only now recently because of the monk mode that I'm trying to go into. Now, will I make mistakes? Sure, I'll make mistakes down the line. But again, you don't need to be perfect. And this is Matriculated says, I think he's actually very accurate on this, and I appreciate him stating that. And I want to emphasize that to all the warriors out there. You don't need to be perfect. In fact, you know, I've made more mistakes than probably all you guys combined in 47 years. But you want to get to the point where you're striving for the goals. The goal is to get closer to your creator, and the goal is to become the best person you can become. So you know, having multiple partners and having all this other kind of deviant behavior is not doing that. And so just logically, you know, this is not what I should be involved in. What I should be involved with is constructive, working on your body, working on that. Now, the second part of that stage I want to focus on, again, is the habits. Besides making the commitment, step one, step two is you gotta develop strong habits that fit the commitment that you had in step one. So what I mean by that, okay, so now that you're learning how to control that energy, what am I doing with it? I'm not going to go ahead and sit and play video games all day long. I'm not going to go ahead and spend all night chasing women because of it. I'm not going to go ahead and out drinking and drugs and all kinds of stuff, overeating because of that. I'm going to now be committed to those things that are closely associated with becoming the best person I can become. And so what happens then is you look at different types of techniques then. Now you're looking at taking a cold shower, which cold shower gives you a heightened level of courage. What I mean by that is that step going into that ice cold shower builds your confidence, saying, if I can do this and I can deal with that coldness at that moment, early in the morning, 5:30, 4:35, it's 5:30 in the morning, then I could deal with a lot of things. And it gives you an energetic type of thing that all of a sudden now you feel great, right? Now I swim in the morning, so I swim in a lot of cold water as well, and so that gives you more energy. Exercise is the second thing. You know that if you're starting to look better and you feel better, you're going to want to do more. So you don't want to sit around home. You don't want to just sit around chasing girls. Forget about girls. I know this is a hard concept, guys, but forget about the women. Don't even think about them. Focus on your goals. Focus when you do. You're going to react. When a girl approaches you and see you, you're going to react. Believe it, my friend, you guys have a lot of energy. You got a lot of energy going, and it's not going to be hard to resist it, but you're going to have to stay away from concentrating on it. I think one of our viewers was talking about this recently, or yesterday, maybe yesterday even. You don't really want to focus on this. The more you focus on this, it's almost like the opposite happens, right? The more you focus on this, the more you push those energies away, female energies. What you want to do is have them come to you. This is why we always talk about that the women, it's much better to have a relationship if the woman likes you and you could tell that, and she's the one actually giving you all the signs, because that person is invested in you. And then their back of their mind, they've kind of decided in their cognitive way that they're going to like you and that they made a good choice. And they're not going to change that choice unless you do something very radical in the situation. So if you're being yourself and you're not too desperate, not pushy and things like that, then you're going to go ahead and be successful and have a good relationship. The choice then becomes, do you want this woman in your life? And my philosophy has always been, is always keep the people in your life that are making your life better, making you move up, not pull you down. And that's important. But the second key point we're talking about here is building the habits. So now you're talking about eating as well. Doing some intermittent fasting is a good idea. Focusing on things that are going to help you body-wise is a good idea. The right kind of foods, the proteins. In my age, I'm doing a little more proteins and doing things to try to be able to build those things up. I wouldn't take anything unnatural. And then vitamins I end up taking is D3 and zinc. And I'll end up taking some C if I have to, if I feel like I have a stuffy nose or something like that. I have not been sick in many, many years, and I don't really feel sick. I may get a cold, I may get a sniffles or a cough, and I guess you're going to call that, but it doesn't stop me at all. Never got to the point where I had to quit work or stop work or anything like that. But the thing is that you have to go ahead and realize that you're building a different person. This is a lifestyle thing. So you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be perfect. You just ought to be consistent over time. And that's the key to the whole thing. So eating, and then once again, meditation. I'm gonna probably take a meditation break in a few minutes once I finish this. And you keep working on this to get better and better and better. And so your spiritual, your emotional, your intellectual, reading a lot, doing a lot of things to expanding your mind. Focus on bettering yourself. Don't worry about the women. The women will be there. Because the women respect and they look at your energy. You have that masculine energy. Women should cultivate their feminine energy. The trouble we have in society is because a lot of men don't have that masculine energy. They're losing it because they're releasing so much and other things, that the women have decided, I've got to take some of it over. And women cannot do that. You can see tons of videos on talking about men's strength and women's strength. There's no competition ever. No competition ever. But the thing is to remember here is the fact that males want females to be feminine. And females really want males to be masculine. And if you stay on that course, you're going to be okay. Our society is trying to do a flip-flop because neither side is really doing what they should be doing. And I think that's what the biggest problem. So as this changes back, which I believe it is going to start changing back, the MGTOW movement, people are more men are opting out because they don't want all this female stuff going on that is not feminine. And females are beginning to realize it too. They're starting to change too. They're realizing that they don't need to be masculine. In fact, they don't even want to do all those things that by themselves. Like, being independent also means responsibility. And men have learned that a long time ago. So the thing is, guys, you have to continue to be consistent and work on it. The people who've been the most successful in history are those people being consistent habits. And so again, those two stages are important. One, commit yourself. Like I committed myself to monk mode 4 years ago. Two, build habits. Take cold showers if you want. Go ahead and focus on exercising. I weight train, I swim, I do the bike, I do the treadmill, all kinds of stuff I do to try to kind of keep myself in shape. Keep working on that, because the better you do that, the better you're going to feel about things, and the closer you are going to get to your God and Creator. Eat the right way, pray, and meditate to your Creator. All those things are important to kind of focus on you becoming the best person. Of course, if you have a partner, make sure you're trying to meet their needs and working with them. They're going to respect you. They're going to appreciate you. And you have that abundance that God is talking about. But you have to first start by not destroying yourself. And that's self-abuse, and you can't be doing that. All right, friends, enough for today. Remember, we're going to try to do a live stream next Tuesday at 6 o'clock. And look forward to seeing you guys online, trying to answer some questions if we can. And if you have some specifically, just wait for those at that time. We can kind of talk about it at that time. All right, my friends, two things I always leave you with on this great, today is Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday morning, actually. First, every day, just like today, is a new day and a great day to a great warrior. You guys are all great warriors. And number two, guys, we have to continue to fight this battle against the evil one, the temptation of doing these things that we know are wrong and they're going to hurt us. So we have to continue to keep the clarion call. I know some of you guys don't like this, but we have to continue to keep clarion call. And we got to continue to get people woke up and basically say, it's time to bet on! Have a good night. Have a good day, guys. Take care. Bye.